Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, December 11th. A very cold morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Fresh snow cover. Yesterday's snowfall resulted in, on average, about 3 to 6 inches across the Philadelphia suburbs. And temperatures overnight dropped way down into the teens, the middle and lower teens in some of the northern and western suburbs of Philadelphia. A very cold weather pattern for the next few days, and then we'll have to deal with another storm over the weekend, and accumulating snow is definitely a threat for Saturday in much of the Mid-Atlantic region, and we'll get into that over the next few minutes. Here's the very latest surface map. This Arctic high pressure is dropped all the way southeast into the southeastern part of the country. Not only very cold here in the Mid-Atlantic region, but all the way up and down the East Coast. Very cold for this time of the year, continuing a cold pattern that has been the rule for the last couple of weeks. Another cold frontal system right here in the middle part of the country with a few flurries. We'll see the radar in a moment. A few flurries associated with maybe an inch or two of snow out in Chicago. Some of the flurries could make it all the way across the mountains into the I-95 corridor late tonight as another push of colder air moves in. Tomorrow will actually be a few degrees colder than today, and definitely very cold the next couple of nights. Probably the coldest will be Thursday night into early Friday morning, and then we'll have to see as more moisture rides out of this part of the country right towards the Mid-Atlantic coastline. Well, here's the current radar loop from the Penn State Ewald site. Certainly some snow bands here downwind of the Great Lakes this morning, and here's a batch of pretty steady light to moderate snow that went through Chicago, caused an inch or two of snow. Again, that's kind of associated with the north end of that next cold frontal system that will move into the I-95 corridor later on tonight, ushering in even colder air for Thursday and Thursday night. And there can be a few flurries in some of the I-95 corridor region later on tonight as that next frontal system works its way through the region. No rain anymore. It's just too cold. All of this precipitation is in the form of snow as Arctic air rules the eastern half of the nation. Well, let's take a look at the upcoming weekend situation. We'll kind of compare a few different models. We're looking at the GFS model and the NAM and also the Canadian model, the CMC model run for Saturday afternoon. And again, there is certainly the threat for accumulating snow in much of the Mid-Atlantic region on Saturday. This is the GFS forecast map from last night's 06Z model run for tomorrow night, late tomorrow night, about 1 o'clock in the morning. And still dry here in the Mid-Atlantic region, high pressure, Arctic high, sitting over the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, basically dry and cold right through Friday. Let's now jump ahead to Friday night's forecast map. By late Friday night, a lot of moisture suddenly appears here on the map with low pressure down in the eastern part of Texas. Still looking at cold air here later on Friday night. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, early Saturday. Notice this rain-snow line, according to the GF model run, already right up to about the D.C. metro region. Let's now jump ahead to early Saturday afternoon. And here is last night's 06Z GFS model run forecast map for Saturday afternoon, about 1 p.m. Saturday afternoon. Low pressure, again, gathering a lot of moisture here down the southeastern part of the country, came out of Texas. This ultimately ends up right along the northeast U.S. coast, and it kind of consolidates when it reaches that point. But notice here I want to point out where the rain-snow line is according to the GFS model, right on the Pennsylvania-Maryland border come early Saturday afternoon. Most likely in the form of snow here according to the GFS model run from the Mason-Dixon line on north, a mixed precipitation event perhaps across the D.C. region according to the GFS model run. Again, notice this blue line here representing the 540 thickness, or roughly the rain-snow line right along the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. Now let's take a look at the NAM model run. And here it is, the North American Mesoscale model run for the same time, early Saturday afternoon. And notice its rain-snow line is a little farther south, right, cutting across the D.C. metro region. All of this in the form of snow across Pennsylvania and New York. Similar type pattern in terms of the low pressure area headed to the northeast, ultimately ends up along the northeast U.S. coastline. But the main point I want to make here is a colder solution than last night's GFS model. The European model agrees with the NAM model with a colder solution. I tend to agree with the colder solution as well. I believe there will be a period of accumulating snow, especially in from Pennsylvania north and east, but perhaps even down to the D.C. metro region. And we'll see. Still a few days to go before this upcoming event. The models, I believe, will trend colder and colder, and accumulating snow will likely be the result on Saturday into Saturday night. Not saying there won't be a wintry mix, but could very well follow a period of accumulating snow. Let's finally end up with a look at the CMC, the Canadian forecast map, for the same time early Saturday afternoon. And here it is, last night's run of the Canadian model for the same time, early Saturday afternoon, about 1 p.m. And it has, again, basically snow north of the Mason-Dixon line, which is right in this region here. Maybe a mixed bag across the D.C. region. And, again, cold enough for snow from, let's say, Philadelphia north and east, at least for a good part of this upcoming storm on Saturday, which will last into Saturday night and early Sunday. So still a few days away from the upcoming weekend event, so we'll have to fine-tune this over the next couple of days, but the threat for accumulating snow certainly exists for Pennsylvania north and east, perhaps a wintry mix down in the D.C. region there, but even there can be some accumulating snow. We'll have to focus in on this and fine-tune it over the next few days. Until then, very cold weather for the next few days here in the Mid-Atlantic region. So stay tuned to the SIweather.com over the next couple of days for updates on the weekend situation. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.